Welcome back to another episode of DPeezy Chronicles. Today we're going to be talking about what it's like your first time in jail, what to expect, and hopefully maybe make your ride a little bit smoother. I hope none of y'all are going to go to jail or have plans of going to jail, but just in case, let me run it by you. My first time in jail, I was 17 years old. I was 17 years old in Houston, Texas. Weed or marijuana was like really illegal out there. And I would have like just a little bit on me, 1 gram or less, even like a joint. One time I got pulled over for having half a joint in my shoe. They made me take off my shoe and everything. And they took me to jail for that. I think I did like 2 weeks for that. So my first time in jail, we were being crazy little teenagers. It was crazy. Like we had everything in my room to have a party night. Like we had like a bottle of that perp. We had like a quarter-pound of some trees. But we also had those Xannies. And for some reason, when you take Xannies, you just want to come up on things. So we were like, we had everything, my Xbox, Grand Theft Auto on the Xbox. But still, with everything in there, once we popped those things, we were like, oh, let's go out and bust some missions, hit some licks. Like, why? Why? Like, what more can we gain breaking into cars? It was just like, I had a closet full of like car stereos and stuff. I wish I could return all of it now. But actually, my mom sold everything when I got locked up, so yeah, she went through my whole room. She was like, and on the phone, she was like, just to let you know, I cleaned out your room, and I mean everything. I was like, oh, damn. But she didn't find my little ounce that I had when I got home, so. But anyways, it was a cheap brick stress trees. Man, you know what? Like, I still remember my first time getting locked up like it was yesterday. Okay, so what happened the first time I had got locked up, we were going out, breaking into cars and stuff, trying to get stereos and all, whatever. And so we were parked in some apartment complex, dressed in all black, and we tried to get into like one car, and the windows were like super hard, so we were like trying to break the window. It was like pow, pow, and it was loud. We were like, oh damn, hope nobody hear us. But we was already on the mission, so we're like, come on, we gotta finish it. So it was like, I remember it was a Suburban. It was a new Suburban. No, it was a new Tahoe. It was like one of the new Tahoes at the time. And man, that window was so hard to break. So we ended up finally getting into that car after all this noise and racket. And then there was the car on the other side of where we were parked. And I was like, bro, it's already been too loud. Let's go, let's go, let's go. So I'm already in the driver's seat, about to back up. And then my friend is hanging out my passenger side window with the little thing he found. It's an icebreaker or ice pick hammer or whatever it is. The ones that have the little point that you can break windows easy. So he found one in the Tahoe. And then he's hanging out my car to try to break the window. He couldn't even grab anything from there, and he's still trying to break the window. So he's like, and then backing up, boop, cops pull up right behind us. And of course, just like I suspected, somebody heard all that racket and was recording us. And actually, the person that was recording us was the person that owned that Tahoe. So yeah, the cops came, got us out of the car, slammed us on the ground, and my friend, he was just cussing them out, giving a hard time, resisting. So they got mad at him and slammed him on the ground and put his face in the concrete with their knees. And then they come to me and do the same thing. And so both of our faces were all scratched up because we were on the ground like this. And they had our knee on top and they're like, on purposely. And so when I had gone to jail, my face was like all scratched up on one side. And it was crazy because the first thing somebody said was, the cops do that to you? And I was like, yep. They're like, damn. Like, that's, at that time, man, the Houston HPD, they were pretty mean. Like, they were pretty raw. They would plant stuff in your car. They would actually pull you over and be like, if you give us a drug dealer, we'll let you go. I'm like, what? No, you only got me for a ticket. It's crazy. For some reason, I was still on them Xans. And I'm standing in line to take my picture and booking. And the cop puts his, like, I didn't even know. Because we're standing in line with a bunch of other inmates. And so I'm standing in line waiting to take my picture, like, next. And then I feel a hand go like this. So I turn around and go like that. And I pushed it off of me, and it was a deputy. So all of them looked at me, and next thing you know, they had like 5, 10 of them jumping on me. Pretzel, they call it pretzeling you up because they pretzel you up like a pretzel and you can't move. Then they put me in this room that was super cold. It was it was just like a small little room, and they told me to go in, and he was like, take off your shirt, take off your pants, and then take off your socks. And I just had my boxers on. So like I'm standing there, I'm like, okay, this is weird. I'm all like, shirtless and topless, and I'm like, what's going on? Next thing you know, it starts getting super, 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 super cold. My friend Eric, he's walking by the door that I'm in he's walking by the door of the room that I'm in. And I'm like, Eric, grab my sweater, pull my sweater. And he's like, the door's not open. It was so cold I could literally not keep my feet on the ground. Like for a couple seconds to be on the ground, I have to lift it up, because it was like super cold. So that's what happened on my first time in jail. All right, so it's your first time that you're gonna have to do some time. What's it gonna be like? What are you gonna expect? Well, let me try to give you some information based on my experiences. I've been to quite a few different jails in my lifetime, and there's nothing to brag about. It's actually kind of whack, I wish I never went to any jail. Okay, so the first time, boom, you catch your case, you're in the car, you have your handcuffs on. What now? So first off, they're gonna take you to the police station, which is the county or whatever. Unless they already know that you're probably gonna be doing some time, it's a felony or something, they'll most likely take you to the jail right away. And you'll get in there, they'll put you in some holding cells with a bunch of other people that just got locked up. So now you're in a holding cell with people that are withdrawing off of drugs, people that haven't taken a shower in a few months or weeks or days or years. Then you got those that are, they're just in there for gang banging and they want to fight everybody in there. So you're in this little boiling pot of all these different people that just got locked up. And it's not a good feeling because it stinks in there. So you're going to sit inside. You're going to travel from these holding tanks to a couple different other ones. And you're going to stay in them for like a couple hours each. That's the worst part. I feel like they do that on purpose so they can like mess with your mental while you're in there. I hate it. That's the worst part to me, is sitting in those holding cells. But after so many times of me going through it, I've learned to just be like, okay, now we play the waiting game. This whole thing is just a waiting game. Because if you're in there and you're being impatient, oh my gosh, it feels like it takes like 20 times longer. So you're just like, all right, let me sleep. Let me just chill. You don't want to, kind of stay in your own lane. You don't want to try to cause no extra trouble for what you're already in there for. And in these holding cells, they have these little collect call phones or whatever they're called. Anyways, they're phones that you can make collect call on. At that point, if you have some numbers memorized, you can try making calls and try to get bailed out. While you're in those holding cells, if you just got in, they're going to ask you if you want to apply for an OR. In California, it's called OR, where you come back on your own recognizance on your court date. They have a different name for it in different states. I forgot what it was called in Texas. Deferred adjudication. That's what I had. My probation, that means if I did my whole probation, it would get dropped to a misdemeanor or something. So you're in these holding cells, and it's concrete benches, cold floors. They usually have one toilet that's dirty and stinky, and someone's probably sleeping on the toilet paper using it for a pillow. So you need to locate that if you need to use your restroom. The first couple days, maybe a week of being in jail is gonna be so hard to take a dump. Believe me. Because first off, you're in this new environment and you're like, man, I need to take a dump, but I got all these people around me. Like, how many of y'all take a dump in front of people? Really? I've been to a couple jails where they have the stalls, but most of them, the toilets are right open. Like in TDC at Bartlett State Jail, their toilets were lined up next to each other. And so you be in there like, what's up, man? Same thing in Orange County. When I went to the farm in Orange County, it was crazy. Literally, you had like the pisser, the pooper, the pisser, and the pooper. And then you just pretty much sit there. So yeah, you're going to have to get used to that. I don't know, bring a book with you or something to make it more, take your mind off of things. Yeah, usually when I went in, it would take me like a week to 10 days to finally feel comfortable enough to let one go and take a dump. All right, so we just got moved from 2 holding cells. Now we're taking our picture, which is just called the booking or intake section. They're gonna take your picture, fingerprints, all your info, ask you your job occupation, and all those in between. They'll put a wristband on you with all your information. They'll get your basic information, eye color, weight, height, and everything, and then they're gonna put a wristband on you that has your booking number, your name. Some of them have even like a face picture of you in black and white. But most of the time, it's just a booking number, first and last name, and birth date, I think. So now we're all in the holding cell, and you got wristband on. Okay, so it's coming along. At this point, you're kind of like, oh, I can't wait to get to my bunk so I could sleep. Like, you start feeling really fatigued. And then they're gonna send you to talk to the psych or the doctor. He or she is gonna see where your mental health is and see if you need to be put into like a mental health section, or if you can go into general population, or if you're not too violent. Also with the violence, they might put you in like a red color, keep you isolated, keep you always chained up. Now's the fun part, changing into jail clothes. But first, you're gonna have to go through this little cleansing or a shower that they make you take if you just came in from the streets. It's really cold. Most of the time that I've had to take that shower, it was just like a stream, like a little stream, and we would push this little button. It was just a button, and the stream would come out. So you push it like 20 times. He was like, come on. Cold. And then so, boom, they give you a white roll. You get dressed. The white roll has a towel, boxers, socks, and a t-shirt. Put that on for your under. And then they'll give you either blues or orange, depending on what part of the jail you're going in. LA County was blue. Every other jail I've been to was orange, was like the general population color. So you're like, okay, I'm almost there. I'm dressed. And I just want to get to my bunk. Now you're going to go to this part where they have mattresses and bedrolls. So you need to get a bedroll. Most of the mattresses that I've experienced are kind of the same. They're just like a foam pad wrapped up in plastic. And those are, they can get pretty heavy. I remember one time I had to walk across the whole foundation. God, my arms were so tired because I'm like trying to hold that plus all my commissary. But yeah, you get your bedroll. It's probably about 1.5 inches thick to about 2 inches. It's not that much cushion. Once you get your bedroll, now they're going to tell you what cell or dorm you're going to go to. When you get into your cell or the dorm, first thing you want to do is find your bunk. Did they give you a number that your bunk was going to be? Or is it just like a find your own bunk type thing? So you need to find that out. Probably just ask around. So usually, like when you get to the cell or the dorm, they call it a house mouse. They're gonna come talk to you and ask you who you run with, or if you're affiliated in any way with any gangs. And they'll kind of give you the run through of what you can and can't do, which toilets you could use. Actually, you know what? When I went to Texas, there wasn't no issues about what toilets we could use and everything like that. Like there was no racial segregation. But when I got to California, it was a whole different game. Like they got so they'd be like, who you run with? And if I run with the Asians and others, so they would come up to me, okay, you can use those toilets right there. Those are ours. We can't use those. Those are for the Southsiders. Those ones are for the whites or the woods. The whites are called woods. Those are for the woods. So I'll be like, all right, and then those phones, this section, you just want to find out all that so you don't do what they call crash. By crashing, calling you a crash dummy is that you're always getting in trouble, doing stuff that you're not supposed to, being places you're not supposed to be, stuff like that. Or keep putting your nose in business that you have no business in. So once you get the rules and everything done, you have your bunk, probably just want to take a nap, maybe eat something. Honestly, it takes a week or two or maybe longer even to get an appetite to eat the jail food. I see some people in there come right away and they're like, hey, let me have your sandwich. Let me have your sandwich. They have like 5 sandwiches because people just came in. They don't even feel like eating this nasty bologna sandwiches. Some people just eating them like crazy. But, he probably wasn't eating that much in the streets. So usually you get assigned a cleaning duty. Or if you have a job If you go straight in and they get you like a job that you're gonna be working, then you're gonna have to leave. They'll call you out every day on the time that you work. If you're not gonna work, then you at least have to clean the cell, the dorm. You'll be put on some cleaning duty. Now, usually you have 72 hours before you're gonna be assigned a cleaning duty, so you can come in, withdraw, get used to being in. They give you like a little grace period. He just came in 2 days ago. We're not gonna bother him about cleaning. 72 hours comes, you better find out what your job is gonna be, or else they're gonna be on you. So it's been 72 hours. You got your cleaning duty. You cleaned it. Probably before the 72 hours, though, when you get into your cell, so you find your rules. One of the main things, too, if you think you're going to be in there for a while or more than a week or two, you probably want to find out when commissary is, or store, or canteen. There's different names for it, but it's all the same thing. Usually it's some places, I think upstate, they had it like 3 times a week, like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. You can go out to canteen, and if you have money on your books, you could buy stuff. All the other places, you get a sheet. It looks like a Scantron. In your school, you bubble in. Sometimes they'll have the items on the sheet. You mark it. Sometimes you have another sheet that you're looking at, and you put the code on that one. Yeah, LA County, it was like all crazy because they'd give you a sheet that has nothing on it. Then you'd have to find somebody. Hey, does anybody know the code for coffee? And you put 0651 into the commissary sheet. Like, I don't understand why they can't just put it on the Scantron itself. Usually, though, it's going to be like once a week. You want to have your people send money on your books. Or if you came in with money in your pocket, they're already going to put that on your books for you. So you're like, okay, I came in with $100. Let me order my hygiene. You want to order your first thing you want to do is order your hygiene. You got to have your soap. They give you some stuff, but usually the shampoo they give you is really small. They give you like 5 plastic packets of shampoo, and then you have to get your own after that. If you're not going to be having any money in there or anybody to help you, they have an indigent kit or a welfare kit. And it's pretty much like a comb, toothbrush. They come with like a pen, like a small little pen or pencil, envelope, I think like a stamp. And it's just like basic necessities so you can reach out to people to try to get, money on your books or find out what's going on. And have basic hygiene for yourself. Because if you don't take care of yourself in there, the other inmates are going to say something. So boom, you found out what commissary is. Place your order. It'll come. They'll call your number. So get your little snacks. You want to get your hygiene. You want to get your snacks. Main thing you want to get, though, is your soups. Because that is like the base ingredient for everything to make sure that you're full. Because the dinner usually is like at 4 p.m. So for the rest of the day until like 6 a.m. the next day, you're going to be hungry. You're going to be hungry in between. So you want to have some soups or something. Usually people make a spread. They'll throw in all together and y'all eat together. Now, for your people to put money on your books, they have some websites where they can go. Sometimes it'll cost like $50 for every $100. Sometimes it's kind of expensive. LA County, they didn't let you go up to the jails. But most places, your people can go up to the jail and put money on your books. You want to find out when visiting hours are if you plan on having any visiting. Usually it's during the weekends. Make sure you get the address of where you're at. Probably find out when you're going to have yard. So the first couple days, weeks or so, it's going to take a second for you to kind of get comfortable. But after you're comfortable, you want to find a routine. Find a routine that's going to keep you busy. You're going to work out. Either you're going to work out this time. Okay, wake up, eat breakfast, make my coffee, go work out, watch this, make a phone call. You have this little routine. So every day, that's what you do. And it'll make your time go by a lot faster rather than like, oh, man, I'm here another day. After the multiple times of me going to jail, I finally found, like, when I got in there, when I had to do the 2 years, it was tough. I had to come to this point in my mind that this is the life I'm going to be living for the next couple years, to be institutionalized, because that's your new environment. That's your new world. Hopefully, whoever's watching this is not going to be hopefully y'all aren't going to be doing too much time. But if you are, just prepare yourself mentally from the moment you go in. That way, you're not going to be stressing every single day. How am I getting out of here? How am I getting out of here? Because, man, that is mentally draining. hopefully, if you're going to be having to do some time, you're not going to be doing it for too long. Now, as far as the cases go, how much time you will be doing, it all depends if you have priors, if you ever got in trouble for that crime before, or if this is your first time. Usually, if it's your first time, you're probably going to get probation, community service, or something like that. But if you've committed the same crime multiple times, they're not gonna be too lenient with you. And there's also enhancements for, like, if you're a gang member, or if you have violent past, violent priors. When you do get the time, if you're gonna be in county jail, usually they have good time, work time. Like in LA County, I seen some people get out for doing like 10% of their time because it's so crowded. In Houston at Harris County Jail, we did halftime. So if we gave me 200 days my first time that I had to do time. They gave me 200 days. I did 100 out of that. When I did my 2 years in state jail, you have to do day for day. You're not going to get out early, and you're not going to get out later unless you catch another case in there. So that's why people in there are just that. That was pretty crazy because people were like cussing out the guards. If there was a female guard, guys would be making these, gestures to them and doing some crazy things. And the other jails I've been to, if they would have did that, them guards would have pretzeled them up and took them to the hole or something. But I don't know. They were letting it happen right there. I hope that this video in some way could help you or help you feel more comfortable or more prepared if you're about to enter that legal system into the jail system. And if you know a loved one that might be, best thing you can do is just show them support mentally while they're in there. When they call you, answer, write letters, put money on the books, because when you're in there, you're really alone. You might have a couple people that'll look out for you every once in a while, but that gets old, So just, if you have someone in there, try to be there for them as much as possible. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of DPeezy Chronicles. I hope this video will clarify things on what happens when it's your first time in jail. And I hope that is informative to you and your loved ones. And stay out of jail. It is not a good place. And if you ever feel like no one loves you, just remember, DPeezy loves you. Stay bussin'.